Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Robert Stover. What's up, Robert?
Yeah, how y'all doing today? What's up, Staxx? How you feeling?
Chilling, man. How are you?
I'm blessed to be here.
Thank you so much for joining me, man. I really appreciate it. We're gonna go over your story. Today's Friday, Forget About It Friday. So my
Facts.
co-host from Forget About It Friday is here to join us on this one, and I'm gonna bring Zay in right now. Yo!
What's good, my boys?
What's up, guy? How
What's
you
up?
feeling?
Being blessed, you know what I'm saying? Chilling, puppy.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, man, for joining
Proud
us
to
on this.
be alive, and be here and chilling with my peeps.
Hey, every day's a blessing to wake up.
Definitely, man.
That's why it's called the present. It's a gift from
Exactly.
God.
Yes,
So
sir.
listen, man, before we get started, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Now, Lee Cole rescheduled his show, so if you guys want, go after this show and watch Lee Cole. Chicky Chickatelli is going to be on Lee Cole's show after this show. I think it's around 6 o'clock, so go check that out. And now we're going to get into the story of how Rob survived a 12 gauge shotgun blast to the chin and survived it. And like, incredible story. Like, you don't hear about this too much because the statistics are the second leading cause for teenagers and young adolescent is suicide. The first cause of death is car accidents. Everyone knows somebody that's been in a car accident, but people have committed suicide all over this country. Someone dies every 11 minutes in this country from suicide. And I think a lot of people don't talk about it. It's taboo. When people are depressed, they get muffled. Some people don't know how to reach out. And we're going to get into the story on what happened that day and what led up to him doing this incident of what took place. So, without any further ado, Rob, man, take it over, man. So let's start off. Like, do you want to introduce yourself to the people?
All right. What's up, everybody? I'm Rob Stover. I was born and raised in Norfolk, Virginia. I was a junior in high school, so 15, 16-year-old. I started having suicidal thoughts. At the time, I didn't know what depression was or anxiety or all these mental illnesses. So I just thought I was going through the growing pages of any normal teenage. I was hopeless. I was alone. I was isolating myself. I had no will to keep pushing forward. And I had no, I didn't have a purpose at the time, and I didn't know what my life meant. So with everything going on between family betrayals, lies, I'm my own biggest critique in the world. There's no one else in this world that critiques me harder than I am and who is harder on myself than I am. So around December 21st, 2015, I took a shotgun to the chin, a 12 gauge shotgun with buckshot rounds to the chin. I pulled the trigger. Luckily, I didn't take into account for recoil. So when I pulled that trigger, the gun slightly shifted to the right and it literally exploded out that way. So if you look at my face, I have this big old dent here. Usually when I have my hair cut, you can see the scar right around here where they had to cut out part of my skull, which is called a skull cap, and they had to pull out some of the pellets. If you look closely, probably not going to be able to see it. I have a scar right here where the barrel was, where it literally, the barrel burned my chin and it made a big old hole in my face. So there's that. And then I had to get a breathing tube right here in my neck called a trachea, because they had to wire my mouth shut so they could reset my jaw. So I couldn't breathe through my mouth or my nose at the time. So they had to literally put a trachea breathing tube right here. Boom, look at that beautiful picture. Look at that gnarly scar. That's where this beautiful dent came from. So
Now,
there's that, and I'll let Mr. Staxx ask the questions and we can get further and deeper into it.
yeah, so I've been reading up a lot about suicide with adolescents, and the statistics are insane. 20% of students have suicidal thoughts and thoughts about killing themselves. 9% of them do it. They follow through and do it. 5% of them, only 5% of people out there that commit suicide use a shotgun. A lot of them use other weapons, they use other means of doing it, but only 5% use a shotgun. Less than 1% survive a shotgun to the head. It's very rare, and normally what happens is it says in the study that people usually flinch because they either try to stop at the last minute, but normally people don't choose that method to put it under their chin. The main method is, the first is the temple, the second method is the mouth, the third method is right in the forehead, and the fourth is the chin. So it's very rare that someone will put a 12 gauge shotgun to their chin and survive that. And you're a miracle that you survived that. And one
Amen.
of the big questions I want to ask you is, and I'm sure everyone else wants to know this, when you woke up that morning, what type of emotions were you feeling? What was going through your head? And what was the plan that you had that day?
Honestly, some of y'all might find this hard to believe, but when I woke up that morning, I had a huge sigh of relief because I knew all my pain and misery was gonna go away. I had woken up, I took a great shower because I was like, you know what, it's gonna be the best day of my life. Let's take this shower, let's start the day off right. I got out the shower, I drove down the street to Walmart to get the right shells for the shotgun.
Were you
And then
so when you dropped? Were you crying? Were you like upset? Were
Yeah,
your
like what
emotions?
pushed you? What drove you to that moment? What drove you to get to that place? Because
so
like I know, in my personally, I like it, somebody pissed me off. Like like in your case, what drove you to that madness to be like, fuck it, I don't belong here no more.
it had been building up for about 7, 8 years. It honestly started when I got home from school one day. I walked in my front door and I saw my parents sitting on the couch in the living room. My mom was bawling her eyes out, and I went to my room. I put my backpack down, and I came right back out to the living room, and they sat me down and they told me, the any parent excuse or reasoning, whatever, when two people aren't happy, they're going to separate and go their different ways. For me, my family was everything because my dad was in the military, so he was constantly on deployment. So when they told me that, I was crushed. As soon as they told me that, I ran upstairs. I bawled my eyes out for God knows how long, until my dad came up there and was like, "Hey, your mom could really use a hug." Luckily, at that time, I was done crying. My tears were all dried up, so he didn't really have to ask any questions. So I went downstairs, and I gave her mom. I was there, I consoled her, etc., etc. And then, literally the next day, I was in English class. My opening bell, my homeroom. I started bawling because it hit me that my parents were splitting up, and my family was literally falling apart.
Falling
So there
apart.
was that.
Yeah.
Yep. So then continue going forward. I didn't realize at the time that them getting divorced and separated was the reasons why my behavior started falling off. Because I knew it was not really the attention, but I knew the love and the family home that I was gonna have wasn't gonna be there. So I needed to act out to get the attention and love I needed from other sources per se. So when I was in English class that morning, I was bawling because what I knew, my home, that structure that I knew that I thought was unbreakable, literally just crumbled beneath my feet. So there
The
was
day
that.
before you did it.
Say what?
The day before you did that.
No, that was
No,
in
no.
eighth
He
grade.
said this was 7 years
Oh, several
before.
years
Yeah.
before.
Yep.
Oh, I'm
Seven
sorry.
7 years before.
Yeah,
Yep.
several. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
So now,
So
when you did this incident, tell the people how old were you, and
I was a 20-year-old kid, so my birthday is in July. I turned 20 that year. In December, it was December 21st, 2015. Since my parents split up, I now have to do 2 Christmases. Every holiday, I have to do 2 of, because I got to go see my dad's side of the family, my mom's side of the family. So I'm splitting up holidays.
Time. Yeah, but
Some
it's a
people,
blessing and a curse, right?
exactly. Some people say, hey, you should be happy because now you get double the presents. No, that's
Yeah.
not the case. Holidays is
No,
not about presents for me. Holidays is about spending time with people you love
and
and
being
enjoying the
together.
company you exactly. If I get nothing for Christmas or holidays, good. If I spend time with you, that's all I want. I really don't care about hard things or like gifts and presents like that. I care about the love and energy I'm spending with you. I could care less about materialistic things. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
all I
right,
cared
Danny
about.
boy.
Exactly. So it happened on the 21st. It was a Monday. That Saturday before 9/20. So the 19th of December, I had to spend Christmas with my dad's side of the family, which for me, when my parents first got divorced, but a few months later, my mom told me that my dad cheated on her with the wife he is currently married to now, to this day. And that literally broke my heart because if the man who I loved and trusted all my life could just say F you mom, F you wife and cheat on her, then how can I trust anyone? And now every time I walk into that house, I see this picture of his wife of, oh, you're the lady who ruined my life. You're the lady who ruined my family. So I had to deal with that. And my sister was supposed to come to that family gathering for the day, but yet I think she had to either work or she had something going on, so she wasn't there. So I was literally left alone to just spend that day with myself, even though I'm around people. So for me, if I'm in a house filled of negative energy or like just somewhere I don't want to be, I isolate to myself. I can be around a million people, but I'm in my own little zone. So like I'm just a soulless body sitting there while everyone else is around me. And it literally destroyed me. So that Monday, when I woke up to shoot myself, I was like, okay, this is a sigh of relief. All my pain and misery is going to end, and I no longer have to feel this hopeless, all this pain, all this misery, and all this unloving, hateful life. Because at that time I hated my life, even though I had a roof over my head, I had a car, I had a job, I had friends, I had everything you could ask for, but it wasn't enough because I'm a huge family person. If I don't have a family, I don't have a life. That's how I dictate my life. My family is my everything, so my family is my life. And when I was driving to Walmart to get the shotgun shells, like, thank you God, thank you God, thank you God for allowing me to have this opportunity to go get shotgun shells and to end my life. So some people usually they're crying and they're so sad and upset that this is the day that finally come. This is the day that I'm gonna die. I was ecstatic that I had a shotgun upstairs in my stepbrother's room that I could use. There was a Walmart 5 minutes down the road that I can go buy shotgun shells from. And I had a backyard that was big enough for me to sit there and put the gun under my chin and shoot myself. So people want to think it's a sad day. To each their own. It could be a sad day for you or anyone else, but for me, I was happy as hell. I was so happy because I knew the pain and all that stuff was going to be gone. So when I got back from Walmart, I sent out 5 or 6. It was 6. I sent out 6 goodbye text messages. I sent out one to Alina, to Megan, to Morgan, to Todd, Tony, and Marcus. The 6 people who were closest to me and my outside of my family, that meant the world to me. So I was like, thank you all for everything you've been through. Thank you all for sticking by my side, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I wish them well. I was like, I hope you know that I'm wishing and praying for the best for you guys, and I know y'all are going to do amazing. And I sent those texts out. I did not write a goodbye message to either my parents, to my sister, or anyone in my family. Because for me, I didn't want to leave them a note that they had to keep for the rest of their life. And they could look back on it and they got to relive that day, that moment every day for the rest of their life. So I didn't want to, I wanted me to end my life and to end my life for everyone. So I didn't even bother thinking about leaving them a note or anything like that. So when I
What
sent out the goodbye,
did you think that you were just gonna end your life and everyone's just gonna move on and there was gonna
yep,
be no big deal?
exactly. That's exactly how I thought. I was like, all
You
right, when I
thought
kill
maybe?
myself, I was gonna think my existence is completely gone and wiped from history. So like all my memories, all that stuff, everyone's memories of me and their life is gonna just be wiped.
Yeah,
Because for
but
me,
question,
suicide
Rob,
is
like
such.
you didn't think about your family or nothing at the time about how they were gonna feel or anything,
I I did
because you
because
wrote letters.
right, but I thought for me, since I in my head, I thought I was a major fuck up. So I was fucking up my life and how I think it as I am a picture of my family, of my mom and dad. Since they raised me, how people see me is a direct reflection of how they raised me. So if they continue seeing this kid who's disappointing stuff, who's not doing anything correct, and who's not amounting to anything, they're not gonna think my parents are fucked up parents and didn't do their job well enough. So I was like, okay, let's end my life and let's wipe my mistakes from their life, and they can move on and grow and be happy with their life.
Damn.
So when I sent the goodbye messages, I walked outside. I sat down, crisscross applesauce. I put 2 shells in the gun. I turned around, I took one fire practice shot to make sure I had the right size shells. It went off, it went perfectly smoothly. I was like, bet, this is it. I already know this is going to be the end of it. So I sat up straight. I put the gun right
Are
here to
you
my
are you
chin.
crying? Are you crying when this is happening? Are you like
No,
emotional? Are you like what's going through your head
You
when
were
this?
just heartless, just
it,
fuck it.
I wouldn't say heartless. I had a heavy heart, but I was so focused on ending my life and ending my misery that I didn't have time for joy or tears
To
because I've
think of
already
nothing.
I've
Yeah,
yeah I've cried so long for the past however long it was that all my tears have dried up. My tear ducts were so dry, so there were no tears left.
yeah. You had
And
no.
exactly, so after I took the first shot, I took a big sigh of relief. Like, all right, this is it. I just took the first shot. There's no turning back now. So when I placed it here, I was like, all right, this is it. Thank you, God, for giving me this opportunity. And I was like, I went ahead and pulled the trigger. When I pulled the trigger, again, I didn't take account for the recoil. So I used my right hand to pull it. When I pulled the trigger, it shifted the gun just slightly, ever so slightly,
Did
and
you
shot here.
did you pull the trigger
Oh,
with your thumb? Did you
Yeah,
use your
I
thumb?
pushed it. Yeah, I pushed it down. Because
So
at
that's
the
why.
time,
'Cause
'Cause
the
it
thumb
pulled
it
it to the
went to the
side.
side. Yeah.
exactly. Yep. Now,
Oh,
like you said,
puñeta.
there were 4 options: temple, top of the head, the mouth, and the chin. For me, I was thinking chin because if I go chin, I'm going straight up through my head and it's going to just explode my head. There's no way I was going to survive that. If I went here to the temple, it could easily just gone in one side, out the other side. If I went up
No,
here, I
that
could have
shit
just
would have.
barely missed it and then boom. So, I mean, metal tastes disgusting. So why the hell would I want to end the last thing I taste be a metal gun? No, that's disgusting. So
Yeah.
the only option I had was the chin. But when I pulled the trigger, obviously the power of the blast knocked me back on my back. I got up, I took 1, 2 steps, and I toppled over and I face planted and I blacked out. And then that's when I woke up 3 weeks later in a coma. I was 3 weeks in a coma. I woke up in the hospital. Now, at the time, I didn't know I was in a coma. As soon as I fell over and blacked out, I thought I died.
Like you thought you
Did
were
you
just
see
done. You
anything?
thought you
Yep.
succeeded and it was
Mm-hmm.
over and
Exactly. So
You
when
didn't
I
see
blacked,
nothing.
oh, I saw so many. I saw so. I was in hell. I swear to God, I was in hell. Like to
Yeah.
this day, I so wholeheartedly believe I died that day because I in those 3 weeks I had nightmares. I had dreams of I had I had about 7 different plots or like settings and themes of my dreams where I had to go in the backyard. I was standing on the porch looking down at my body, sitting crisscross applesauce with the gun to the chin, and I had to watch myself shoot myself numerous times, numerous times, numerous times. I was screaming at the top of my lungs to, "This is not what you want. This is not what you want. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it." But since I was in a dream, I wasn't really there, and I couldn't hear the one shooting myself. I couldn't
Yeah.
hear
and you
me
couldn't
screaming,
stop
"Don't
it.
do this."
Yeah.
Exactly.
You probably
So,
screaming stop and just
yep,
still watching
and
yourself do it. Blang, blang,
exactly.
blang.
And it got to a
Ooh.
point where I was like, "Okay, this is pointless. I'm just gonna stop screaming. Let me go ahead and just watch myself do this." So I thought this was how hell was gonna be, where I just got to constantly relive this moment, relive this moment, relive this moment until who knows what's next. I don't know what's after this, but I believe you're either gonna go to heaven, which is a happy-go-lucky place, or you're gonna go to hell, which is probably your worst nightmare in life.
That's sick, Papa. God bless you, man.
I was wearing this crucifix. I don't believe I was wearing the same necklace, but I was wearing the same pendant. To this day, I believe he popped out of this cross. He put a bubble around me and saved my life. Because you don't put a shotgun to the head and you survive that. There's no way you survive that without a higher power. Whether you believe in God or not, there is a higher power out there that is looking out for you. Whether you want to believe it or whether you want to try your hardest. Oh, there's nothing out there. It's just us humans. No. There is a higher power out there watching us. Whether you want to call it the universe, God, Allah, Muhammad, whatever you want to believe in, there is something out there that's greater than us that is watching over us and dictating our every step.
Yeah, man. So listen, when you woke up, right, the 3 weeks, were you in a conscious state? Did you like remember what was going on prior to this situation, or were you like when you woke up, were you distracted by everything that was going on, or did the depression sink right in right away?
I woke up frantic and like so confused because when I did it, and I thought I was dead. So when I woke up and I was like, where am I at? Why am I chained? I woke up chained to a hospital bed because apparently throughout the coma, I was aggressive and I was overly like I was doing. I don't know what the heck I was doing. They said I was
Yeah,
aggressive and I was swinging at stuff, trying to pull out tubes and all that. So when I woke
yeah.
up, I had mitts on my hands and I was literally chained. I was tied to the bed. So I couldn't really move and I was freaking the hell out because I was like, I died. What am I doing here? Why am I in a hospital?
Yeah. So, what was your first like? Did you talk to anybody? Did they come and talk to you about what happened? Like, was there like what was the process of recovery once this all happened? Like, you woke up. What happens next?
I spent 3 months in a hospital. So I was taken to the hospital December 21st on a Monday. I was discharged March 21st, 2016 on a Monday. Really weird how that was a really weird coincidence. So those 3 months in the hospital, I had to get surgeries. I had to get skin grafts to fill in the hole. I had to get my skull flap back covered. I had blood clots. So they had to drain all my blood out of my body and put it back in to get the blood clots out. They put lung tubes in here because my lungs started to drown. By far the worst pain ever. They had to literally put, like a little CO2 container you put like in a little BB gun.
Yeah.
They had to
Yeah.
put that little CO2 gun or a CO2 container.
Cartridge. The
Exactly.
cartridge.
Yep.
Yeah.
They literally pushed it right through my ribs. Worst pain I've ever felt in my life.
Oh,
No pain meds,
oh,
no
what they
nothing.
do that
Why?
for?
Why did they have to do that?
Because my lungs were filling up with liquids, so they had to drain it out somehow.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
called the
understand
collapsed
science.
lung.
I'm not gonna
It's called the
question it.
collapsed lung.
Exactly. So they had to figure out
Yeah,
how to get
because
the liquid
that's
out.
what they call. Because I had a collapsed lung when I got hit by the truck, and I had a tube that they had to put in there. And I remember when they took it out, it was like a balloon attached to, like, I don't know. I remember I had to go, and then he pulled it out. I was like, "Oh, puñeta!"
Hey,
like
listen, if
collapsed lung.
anyone out there is struggling with depression, mental, emotional distress, there's a new number that you can call. It's 988.
Or
And
text.
listen, those people in my chat, man, just knock all that off, man. Just get out of here with that bull crap, man. I don't got time for none of you people. I don't support that kid in the chat, so just knock it off. Get in the bathroom.
It's
Get
all
in the
right.
bathroom.
Karma's
Get in the
Karma's gonna
bathroom.
get them back. Let them throw shade. Karma's gonna get them back
Yeah, yeah, it's
because
cool.
Nah, they were
they don't
throwing shade at.
understand what we've been through. So let them
Not at
live their
all.
blessed life because Karma's gonna get their ass.
Not on the level we're on. So listen, let's get
Exactly.
back to the story. So if you're struggling with depression, anxiety, you feel like you want to end your life, there's a number you could call. It's pound 988, and the 1-800 number is 1-800-273-8255. And there's a woman named Jill who has a YouTube channel, and she has a similar experience, not exactly like him, but she has a incredible journey of her own, and I put a link for her channel in the description of this video. You can go right to her YouTube. Now, what kind of help did they? Oh, you can go.
So that 988 number, you can also text that number. If you're uncomfortable like I was to call some random person, you can text that number and they will gladly help you get the help you need or point you in the right direction in your area to lead you to the right sources and resources to get the help you need. For me, my dad's wife, who I'm not going to say nothing bad about her, she was a social worker at the time. For me, I thought as a social worker, she was going to give me the help I needed. Unfortunately, she did her best to get me help, but they sent me to a crisis stabilization unit where I had to stay there for 5 days until I felt better and they would release me. As
Well,
soon as I got
question,
into, all right,
Rob, were you acting out at the time that you went and asked for her help and you got her help? Like, were you acting out as in the sense like were you like doing bad stuff? You know, stuff that were you cutting yourself? Were you acting out?
I wasn't cutting myself. I was using alcohol and I was using weed to suppress my issues. I thought
Okay.
when I got high, that hour and a half that I was high, or that hour and a half that I was drunk, that
Yeah.
I was escaping my pain. I was escaping the thoughts in my head and poof, I felt so much better.
But like when
But
you were drunk, were you belligerently drunk?
yes. So
Okay.
my big thing is I never drank to get a buzz. I drank to get fucked up and blacked out.
To get numb. You drank to get like me. I
Exactly.
was a blackout alcoholic. I
Yep.
understand where you're coming from.
Because
That's
I
why I'm
knew
asking because
if
that's why in a sense I could see why she probably put you away. And it unfortunately it sucks because at that age we don't think about what the adults are thinking about, you know, and what they're trying to do. And she was probably trying to, you know, shock you of not wanting to ever be back in a place like that, but
but
not
in
realizing you really did have depressional issues that were beyond that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's unfortunate she didn't see that being a social worker, didn't realize that you didn't need that. You weren't acting out to be a asshole. You had issues, like you had deep depression. I get it.
I never got drunk around them because my family, military background, so like, all right, you're underage, you're not gonna drink. Weed was legal in Virginia at the time, so like, weed's legal, you're not gonna do that in my house. So I was never drunk around them. I never smoked around them, but I would come home high as fuck around them. But because I knew the repercussions I would have if I came home drunk, I got drunk elsewhere, friends' houses,
Yeah.
acquaintances' houses, parties, kickbacks, all that stuff. Because I knew if I went there drunk, not only would I freak the hell out after they related me or whatever, so I had to get drunk and recover and sober up elsewhere before I could come home. But what led up to me actually, what was the final straw of me shooting myself was I texted my stepbrother, who at the time also smoked weed and also did other things that I won't get into because I don't want to throw him under the bus. So I was like, hey, bro, you want to come to this place and get high? He said, hell yeah. So we went up, we smoked and all that. I texted him this. The next day, I left my phone at the house while I went to work. Since I paid for my phone bill and it was my phone, I didn't think anyone was going to go through it. It's basic respect. If it's not your phone, don't touch it. If I don't say, hey, you can go
Yeah.
through my phone, don't go through my phone. It's not your property. It's not your business. But my dad's wife's like, hey, look, here's a phone. Let's check on his phone. She checked on my phone, went through all, and she saw the text between me and her son. And then when I
Oh,
got home from work that night, they asked me, hey, are you smoking? Did you smoke with my son, et cetera, et cetera? I already knew the answer, or they already knew the answer. It's like, all right, I can't lie my way out of this one. So I answered it. We had this whole discussion, and they were like, all right, well, you have until the end of the month. So this is about the middle of December. So they told me you had until the end of the month to get out. For
oh
me,
well.
I never wanted to be a burden with my problems on people. So all my friends are out of state, really. My best friend, Tony Lyles, who has literally been there from day one. When I first had my suicidal thoughts, Tony Lyles was the one I went to. Now, granted, I didn't come to him and be like, hey, I'm suicidal, I want to kill myself. I was like, hey, Tony, I hope I get cancer and die. I hope I go to sleep tonight, and I hope I don't wake up in the morning. I hope we go get some weed one day and we get in a drug deal battle and I catch a gun gunshot to the head or gunshot wherever, and I died. So I wouldn't literally
There's a
say,
lot
"Hey,
of other people that feel the same way that you felt that back then, man. It's a lot of
exactly."
people, and they don't talk about it. And that's one of the reasons we're doing this show, you know?
But as a 14, 15, 16
Again,
year old, how are you gonna say, "Hey, I'm suicidal"? We're going through uh what's it called? Whatever the 12.
Like growing, like
Yeah, you're growing and stuff.
hormonal
Yeah,
changes and all that stuff.
exactly. So I mean, at the time, I just thought it was life process. I just thought it was life doing its thing, and I was growing and doing whatever. So I didn't really know this wasn't normal. So I didn't bother reaching out to my parents or adult figure or whatever, someone who could actually give me help. So
Yeah.
I knew I could trust Tony to actually talk, not even talk me out of it, but just sit there and listen to me and let me get it all out. Because after I would vent it all out, I wouldn't say I felt much better, but I would feel just a little bit stronger that I can continue with my life and continue pushing just a little bit farther until the next domino dropped and I'd be right back in that cycle again.
Yeah, I think mental awareness, but like mental health awareness, you know what I mean? I think it's a big thing, and people need to be more aware, because this could be your kid out there. This
Exactly.
could be your kid out there who's plotting to hurt themselves, and you have no clue. And maybe
yeah,
you have an uncle or a brother who has a shotgun in the house or a firearm, and they can be doing the same thing that he was doing that day. And that's the reason why we want to get this story out there. We can save somebody's life with his
Facts.
experience.
yeah.
Now, I want to say this: if you do have firearms or hunting knives or any type of weapon in your house, you need to lock them up somewhere where your child or your young teenage child or whatever can't get access to them. It's not my
Exactly.
stepbrother's fault that he had a gun in his room. He's a hunter. So I can't expect him not to have a gun in his room because he's going to go out that weekend or that Wednesday or whatever to go hunt. So he needs that weapon at his reach. Since he was under 18, he couldn't carry his gun in his car with him wherever he went. He was still going to school. He couldn't really go anywhere with that gun with him. So he had to leave it somewhere safe. But unfortunately, he didn't really have a gun safe or somewhere that he could put it and lock it up and keep the key or keep the passcode away from whoever might want to get into it. So for those who have weapons, medicine, any type of drugs that can do harm to your insides or like knives, you need to lock them up. Now,
What
I'm not
about
saying I'm.
the ammunition you bought that day? How easy was it for you to go there and get them shotgun shells to do this?
It was easy. It was crazy because the girl who was behind the counter in the gun shop, I'm pretty sure I went to high school with her. And since I was 18, she didn't ask for my ID. She was like, "All right, bet. What shotgun shells you need? I just need 12 gauge shotgun shells. Just give me a box." She
And
gave me the box. I paid for it, and I went about my way.
she didn't know what you were
Wow.
trying to do, right?
Nope, not at all. But I mean, who would? Because it was during hunting season. So I mean, who's gonna expect? Oh, this kid's getting shotgun shells or getting ammunition for his pistol or whatever, just to
Yeah.
go shoot himself.
That's,
Wow.
Because I
it's not
mean,
like they
in
probably don't
schools,
ask that.
exactly, in schools, in college, and wherever, mental illness is not talked about. You talk about sex education or health education. I've not once when I was in school was talked about or taught about mental illness.
Mental health,
Depression
right?
was never a conversation. Anxiety was never a conversation. Anorexia, bipolar, um, multi-personal, multi-personality
Schizophrenia.
disorder. None of these mental illnesses were talked about.
They
So,
growing up, they did talk about Tourette's, but that was because we had a kid with Tourette's in our class.
well,
Tourette
Yeah, but
syndrome.
this is a major
we
issue,
No,
man.
no, no. I
This is a
understand.
major
No.
issue
Oh,
across the
believe
whole
me.
country.
Yeah,
we
believe
talked.
me, I know. But they only did that, and that's the only one thing I could
Yeah.
say about
Yep,
that. But
we talked about
you're right. Never no mental health issues or nothing in school.
Yeah.
we talked about Tourette syndrome because at the time MySpace was big and there was a viral video going around of some guy having Tourette's. It was the funniest video ever, and that was the only reason why we talked about Tourette's. But we weren't taught properly
For
about it.
real?
We only talked about it because of some stupid video we saw on MySpace.
I didn't know that. I never
Mm-hmm.
heard of that.
Yep.
That's it. But yeah, they taught us because my boy had it, and Bendito. He used to cuss and stuff, and they had to kick him out of the school. They had to send him to a special school because of it. It was messed up. Like they sent him to like remember what like a Westwoods or
Yeah,
he
yeah,
went to the boys club. Boys
yeah.
club. They sent him there. Like it was kind of messed up, because he wasn't a bully or he didn't act out like that. He just you know, fuck me on
It,
parts.
it is what
And
it is, man.
they said it
People,
interrupted the class.
they don't really know where to put certain people. They don't know
Yeah,
what to really do with these certain
but
people and what.
I
they
think
do need to teach the kids more like Rob is saying about mental health.
And
I'm
about the
not.
weapons, about securing
Yep.
your weapons, your
Yeah, look at
firearms. Be
yeah,
aware of what's going
yeah.
on because your kid
Exactly.
could be in the backyard with a gun to his chin.
And
And
Yeah, look at that
this
they might
young
15
not.
year
man,
old.
he's
They might not
lucky
even
enough to survive. You don't survive this shit.
Yeah,
exactly. And they might
you're
not
right.
even be trying to kill themselves. How many accidental fire shots go off?
Yeah,
They
my
could be
boy
playing with
died.
the gun and then oops, there goes the gun.
Yep,
Oops, there goes your kid.
that's what happened
And now
supposedly.
since you didn't lock up your gun, now you're at fault for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So careless weapon handling, and then all of that can happen. I don't want to say schools need to dive deep into mental illnesses, but it needs to be brought aware so people like me
yeah,
know
made aware.
because I'm
Yeah.
feeling like this is not normal. Let me ask for help.
Well,
Let me go to an adult
they should
figure
teach
that can give
certain
me help.
signs.
I
They should
think
Exactly.
teach certain signs of mental health
honestly,
issues.
I think that Rob should be doing a tour across the country, going to
Yeah,
schools, talking to
Yep.
children about the situation that he went
yeah,
through so that he can bring awareness to other kids not to do that type of stuff, to
yeah.
go and seek
That's
help
good.
because these kids out here, they need help. They don't need to go through the same thing he went through. 3
Yeah,
weeks
and
in the
especially
hospital,
if
3
he goes
months
on a tour
there.
with
Like
some of them people that got a shot in the schools, that would be awesome. You
like
know?
he should be talking to people, and that's the reason I wanted to bring him here, is to get his message out there to the people.
Facts. And if you
It's
look in the chats,
powerful.
my guy Corey White said it's crazy. Robbie seems so happy in school. You would have never have guessed I was going to be the one who shot myself and tried killing myself because I was that happy-go-lucky kid. I was always a people pleaser. I wanted everyone to be happy because I didn't want them to feel the aloneness, the pain and misery I was feeling. Because for me, there was no way, there was no exit out of it. I thought I was going to live like this the rest of my life, which is why I had to end up trying to shoot myself because I was like, okay, I don't know any other avenues to fix this or even get the help I needed. So let's find a gun, let's put it to my head, and let's kill myself. For those who have tried cutting yourselves, tried hanging yourselves, tried pills, I applaud you because for me, I did not want to feel my death. I wanted to be quick and easy. For those who literally cut, you got more strength than I do because
And
you
if
gotta
people
feel, you
don't
gotta,
know, I've tried to commit suicide before. I've had a gun in my mouth. I've tried to hang myself. I've overdosed. I've slit my wrist. I've had multiple suicide attempts. And when I seen this young man, I related so much to his story that I had to bring him on here to tell his story, to bring awareness to this situation because it's powerful. His story, like, it can literally change lives, and I hope that we're getting through to some of you people out there who are listening to this, and maybe you can relate to this story. Maybe you feel depressed and you feel like something's not right. Go and get help, reach out. And another thing, Rob, tell them about the people who are just looking for attention versus the people who really need the help.
if you're looking for attention because you're doing whatever you're doing to your life, you might not even be mentally ill. You might not be sad. You might not be depressed. You're just not getting the attention you want. For me, I am willing, my DMs, my texts, my phones will always be open to get I will always be here to listen to you, to support you, to talk you out of whatever you're going through, to help you. But if you're calling me just to get attention, I'm not the one. I had a friend from A school FaceTime me with a gun to her head, crying her eyes out because she wanted help.
And
Now,
this was
granted,
after his
this exactly.
situation.
This was about
Damn.
3 years after I shot myself, and she found out, and she was going through whatever, and she literally FaceTimed me with a pistol to her head, was like, "I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna kill myself." Now, at the time, I didn't think like this. So I was like, all right, bet, let me help you, let me help you, let me help you. Because I didn't have anyone I felt I could go to help me out of whatever I was going through. So luckily I helped her. I helped her get through the day. I haven't talked to her since, so I don't know if she's still alive or she's not. Pearl, if you're still alive, I pray you got some more help and you were doing so much better than what you were doing that day. But if you ever call me with a gun to your head, I promise you by the power of God, I will tell you one thing. You either pull that trigger and get it over with, or you go put that gun away, because I am not going to talk to you with a gun to your head. I put a gun to my shot. I put a gun to my chin. I pulled the trigger. I'm not the one to give you pettiness. I know how terrible it feels to be in that situation, but if you're looking for a pity party, I'm not that person. You need help, get help. If you want attention, do what you need to do with your life and get your own attention, because no one's going to pity you and no one's going to show you sorriness or whatever you want just because you want it. That's not how it goes. No. You don't, this is such a taboo subject. Don't make it worse than what it already is. People like me didn't have avenues to get the help they needed. I didn't have people who I felt would be able to help me or support me or even just listen to me talk to help me get through what I was going through. Granted, I had Tony, but I had literally already filled his life with negative talks, with negative comments about me that I didn't want to continue putting onto his life. He has a young daughter at the time, so he had to do dad things, and I didn't want to already make his life even more stressful. So I had no avenues or anyone to call really to get the help I needed.
You
So
thought though, you thought
exactly, I thought I
because
didn't.
you really did. You could have got the help, but I don't know, you just didn't reach out. You didn't. You could have reached out to somebody. You could have went a different direction, and
But
that's you know.
it's like I said earlier. I didn't want to be a burden to people with my problems. If I can't fix them myself, how can I expect you, Staxx, you, Zay, or anyone else on this call to help me? If I can't do it myself, how can anyone else fix me or even give me the help I need?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is me living with my thoughts. There's no one else in my head who is listening to me and listening to my thoughts.
Yeah, but that's
So
putting a lot of pressure on you, though. The expectations for yourself. That's why there really was people around you for you to reach out to, but you didn't take the steps to reach out to them. Maybe because your fear of insecurity. Maybe you were scared of people judging you. Maybe I don't know the reason why you didn't reach out. Maybe you'd say you felt like you couldn't reach out, but really you could have. But
I think it was more of I was so done with life. I was so hopeless. I was so sad. I was so miserable that I didn't even want the help.
you
I wanted
wanted
this
you
I
wanted a
wanted
way
this
out.
shotgun to just end my life and get out of here.
Yeah, you
Wanted
Because
a way out.
I have been living with it for so long. It's like, all right, even if I do get help, who's to say in 3 months when after I feel better, something else is gonna knock another domino off and I'm right back in that depressed state of mind. So I was like, I'm not even gonna bother getting help. Let me just go ahead, grab a shotgun, grab a gun or whatever, and end my life and end all this pain and misery.
So what has changed from then till now?
Reading, and honestly, those 3 months in the hospital, I had three options. Either A, I can turn this negative situation into a positive and spread my story and help others avoid going through what I went through, or help them get through whatever they're going through so they can see the brighter side of life. B, I can continue trying to kill myself until I actually succeed. Or C, I can dwell on this fact and be miserable the rest of my life. I didn't spend 3 months in the hospital getting picked, poked, and prodded every single morning to continue trying to kill myself or to just be miserable the rest of my life. So it was quickly kicked out. So literally, God didn't save me to continue being miserable or to continue trying to kill myself. I'm
Yeah,
here with a purpose. I'm here for a reason. I am literally a walking miracle. Whether you believe it or not, like the people earlier, if you want to
I
throw
believe
shade,
it, man.
throw shade. But I am here for a reason. I have a story to spread. So whether you want to hear it, whether you don't want to hear it, it's not for you. It's for the people who need to hear this. It's for the people who feel hopeless and the people who don't know how to get out, or like me, who don't want to get out and get the help they need. I was 20. I haven't even lived half of my lifetime. So I could have taken away this most precious gift God can give us, which is life, at an early age. So if I can help a young kid, someone in their 40s and 50s, someone in the middle age or whatever, if I can help them see the brighter side of life or see how precious life really is, then that's what I want to do. Because I know how terrible it feels that I would not wish this pain or agony on my worst enemy, no matter what.
Yeah. What's this picture? Can you explain this picture and what they had to do, some of the process for the surgeries that you had? Because I know they were extensive. So can you explain this picture?
So if y'all can see there, so your fibula and your bone, which is the small backbone in your leg, is a non-weight bearing bone. When I pulled the trigger, I disintegrated the right side of my jaw. So I no longer had a bone here. They tried putting a metal plate, but my skin rejected it and it was causing infections, which is why my hospital stint was longer than it had to be, because each time I was trying to get out and was able to get out, I'd get an infection and they didn't know where until they eventually noticed it was my chin getting the infection. So they had to cut out from here to about here to put in place of my jaw. So I no longer have a fibula in my right leg. It's literally right here in my jaw. So that was probably the weirdest surgery I had to go through. Because I'm an athletic person. So I need both bones. They say it's non-weight bearing bone, but it definitely has caused issues with stability, with balance, and with like cutting right to left.
Yeah.
Because you're putting so much weight and pressure on that foot that it does not have that bone structure to stabilize the movements you're trying to make. So when they cut that out, they didn't put anything back there. It's literally just, I have one bone in that shin right now, which is the tibia. So if you ever meet me and you want to be grossed out, you can feel where they cut the fibula from here to here, and that's as much as they've taken out. So it's literally just the tibia I have left, and that's literally much all.
Wow.
And it's very weird.
So
If you notice, my chin is shifted just a little.
How hard has it been to like eat food and things like that? When like has it been a struggle for different things? Like
Yes. So if you ever notice what I'm drinking, 9 times out of 10 I have a straw, because I can't. If my mouth is relaxed, I can't close my mouth anymore because my jaw is all offset. So I make a joke. Half the food goes in, half the food goes right out. So this side is perfectly fine, and then the rest drips right out because I don't have any teeth. I don't have any teeth back here because it literally destroyed all of that part of my mouth. So I have to chew everything on this side of my mouth without doing anything over here.
Did
And
the
since I can't
shotgun blast touch any part of your brain? Did it hit any part of your brain?
Since I used a buckshot shotgun shell, if you know what a buckshot is, there are little pellets within the shell plus a little wad of gunpowder. Exactly. So it went up, and there were a few pellets left in this part of my head that they had to cut out from here to right about up here. They had to cut out part of my skull to pick out some of the pellets. So most of it did go out, but there were about 5 to 6 pellets still lodged inside my head and brain.
Hey, what up, Claudio?
Shout out to everybody in the chat. And so now,
thank y'all for supporting.
Yeah, man. I like a lot of people in here. A lot of people have been watching, coming in and out. I appreciate everyone who comes in here. Make sure you guys hit the like button. If you want to donate towards the channel, you can go in. You can do super chats. You can donate towards the Cash App. So you have a friend that you want to bring on that's going to share a little
merch.
Yeah, don't forget your merch either. And you got a friend that you want to bring on, right?
I sure do.
Yeah, you got a friend that you want to bring on, and she has a similar. Well, we're going to let her explain a little bit about herself, and her YouTube channel is linked in the description of this video.
Shit, if
You
I can find
guys are going to hear from her right now.
Right about now.
What's going on?
Now.
So Jill, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hey guys, I'm Jill Rupp, 37. I'm out of San Antonio. Definitely been through some stuff, not quite what Rob's been through, but definitely have a story. I've had my own trials and tribulations with suicide, depression, things like that. That was much younger years. I had one attempt when I was in my 20s. Same like Rob. Nobody knew. Nobody had a clue. And most people, even if they watch this later, most people don't even know. I spent 3 days in a psych ward over it and brushed it under the rug because it was so taboo. I didn't want anybody to know about it. But recently, 3 years ago, I lost my husband to suicide. And it was just a totally different scenario. He literally wasn't the best man. And it was an abusive relationship. And like, why I want my story to get out there was I was that woman that always, said, why don't women leave these situations? Why don't they just get out? How do they end up in situations like this? And back in June of 2018, I woke up and I realized I was one of those women and I didn't know how to leave. I didn't know how to get out.
Yeah.
So
I think that you definitely have a different aspect towards this whole scenario of dealing with people who, I mean, you lost your husband and then you're dealing with things like that. You have a friend there. I mean, you guys have a very powerful message, and that's why I want to help you guys get your message out there to the world. And if you guys don't know, she has a YouTube channel. Go subscribe to her. She's just getting started. If you go in the description of this video, you'll be able to link to her and subscribe to her. And she's got some good content. Go check it out. And we're definitely going to bring you on in the future. We're going to go over your whole story. But I wanted to get this live out today so the people are aware of this story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Definitely. I'm looking forward to sitting down, doing a Q&A with you and everything like that. And he said, it's just, we found each other through like different entrepreneurship. Robert's one of my best friends and both very different sides of the spectrum and different things. But at the same time, we really get along and we can help each other through things because no matter what side of the spectrum you've been on, there's trials and tribulations. And yeah, it's nice to have people and know people are there for you. And some days though, like you said, you don't always want to reach out, but your good friends can hear you when you're silent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so. Like you'll see the signs. The signs are out there, and the kids deal with this all the time. There's kids. Someone dies in America every 11 minutes. 40,000 people die from this. I think every day, every single day.
And 1 in 4 people that had somebody commit suicide also become a suicide victim
themselves.
And like that's the craziest thing. Yes. Yeah. So if you're directly related to somebody, mother, brother, cousin, and you know them, chances are you're 1 in 4 people that may do this yourself. That's how prevalent it is. When I started doing research and stuff, like I said, my story is different, but I didn't ever find a story that I could relate to. That's why I want my story out there, because people don't talk about stuff, and people didn't even know what I went through because I didn't talk about it because it was so taboo. Even when you lose your husband or you're, whether you're suicidal or you've had suicide happen in your family, people just don't talk about it. They don't know how to talk about it.
Yeah.
So like I wore that smile, and I always tell people, make sure you check on your happy friends, because happy people aren't always what they seem.
And then to piggyback off that, my mother in the comments said, you had me. Mom, I know this is going to hurt you, but the reason why I didn't reach out to my mother was because after she got divorced from her second husband, she told me that if it wasn't for me and my sister, she wouldn't be here. So I didn't want to come to her and be like, hey, Mom, your son is now suicidal. So now that her son is suicidal, it just gives her another reason to go ahead and end her life. So reaching out to her was never an option.
Yeah, but it could have been an option. It could have changed the trajectory of how things unfolded.
Played out.
Maybe you guys could have had a connection there, and it would have changed the whole path of your future. It's unknowing, man. All we can do is move on from here, and I'm just very thankful that you survived this situation, and you're here to explain this story to help people out there, because it's very powerful story, man, and people need to hear this.
Facts. And I know a lot of people on social media see the quote, be kind, because you never know what someone else is going through. You might be the reason how you act or how you say something to someone why they actually go through with killing themselves. They might be going through something you know nothing about, and with your one nasty comment or your one nasty action is the final thing to drive them right off over that edge. So whatever you're going through, you need to pick kindness. If you had nothing nice to say, you shouldn't say anything at all. Because
Fact.
a few days down the road, a month or a week later, you could be the reason why they actually killed themselves. So you need to be kind, or you just need to shut up. There's no in between.
Yeah, there's a lot of hate going on out there, a lot of negativity, and I don't partake in none of that, man. I just keep it moving, keep my eyes on the prize, you know?
Exactly.
Definitely, man. Man, I thank you guys so much for coming on, man. I
Thank you for
appreciate it.
having us.
We have a show that me and Rob recorded it yesterday. I'm gonna get it out here soon. I wanted to get this story out there for people to hear it. And thank you guys, man.
You were so welcome. And then to piggyback off what
Yes.
she also said about reaching out to your happy friends, if you have that friend that you constantly see on a regular basis, you constantly talk to them on a regular basis, and then all of a sudden they just disappear without no clues of why, you should probably reach out to them and be like, hey, I don't know what happened. I don't know what you're going through. But if you need me, I'm here to talk to you, or I'm here to listen. You don't need to talk. You don't need to say anything to them. You just need to let them know I am here for support in case you ever need it. Because there's no reason why someone should go from talking to someone every day or seeing someone every day and then just disappearing for no reason. There is a reason that they have for why they disappeared, but they might not be willing, or they might not be confident enough to bring it up to you because of whatever they're feeling.
Yeah, man, you're right. And what you do with other people could change somebody's whole life. It could change their future, and you
Exactly.
really don't know. One little act of kindness can go a long way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
It's
might
true.
not think it, but it's going to make a lot of difference.
Definitely, man. Well, you guys are great, man. I appreciate both of you. Thank you, Jill. Go and subscribe to her YouTube channel. It's gonna be a good show when I bring her on. And go check out me and Zay, Mugshot Monday, Forget About It Friday, Rob Stover.
Yeah.
His link for his Instagram is in the description too. You know, I got everything in the description. If you want
At
t-shirts, you
You
Sturdy.
can
want
do it.
socks, go to the description. We get it all.
And make sure you get your merch.
Go get your
Facts.
merch too. Go to the description. Get your Chattin with Staxx.
Forget
Oh,
about it.
forget
Smash
about
that like
it.
button, smash that subscribe button, and if you ever need anything, my DMs are always open, so don't hesitate to reach out, because I know what you're feeling. I might not know what you're feeling or going through, but I know how it feels to be lonely, helpless, and not wanting to live. If you look at my bio on Instagram, it literally says, my will to live is stronger than my cry for death. Yes, I wanted to die back then, but my heart and soul is a lot stronger than my cry for death. That is why I'm still here, and that's why I'm on this live right now, helping and spreading my story, because I want to live, and I want to see other people live and grow and continue their life instead of cutting it out short. It's not up to you whether you live or die. It is up to God. I'll leave it at that.
Definitely, man. Everyone has a day, and let it come when that day comes, and enjoy your life, every minute of it.
Facts.
I appreciate you, man. For real, you made a big impact on my life, and I've definitely found a friend. You found a friend in me, man.
Yes, sir. You got a friend
You
in me too as
got a
well.
friend in me.
Definitely, man. So thank you for joining me, bro. Thank you, Zay. You know, it's always a pleasure to have you on, man. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Till next time. Thanks, guys.
Deuces.